The Shawshank Redemption is consistently considered one of the greatest films of all time. It's held the #1 spot on IMDb's top 250 for over a decade, with millions of viewers worldwide. But what makes this 1994 prison drama so special? Why did a film that initially flopped at the box office become a timeless masterpiece? In the next few minutes, I'll tell you everything you need to know about The Shawshank Redemption, without giving anything away. Let's dive in. The Shawshank Redemption is a drama film released in 1994, directed by Frank Darabont, and based on a novella by Stephen King called Rita, Hayworth, and Shawshank Redemption. Yes, Stephen King, the horror master. But this isn't a horror story. It's a deeply human tale about hope, friendship, and resilience. The film stars Tim Robbins as Andy Dufresne, a banker who was sentenced to life in Shawshank State Penitentiary for a crime he claims he didn't commit. Morgan Freeman plays Red, a long-term inmate who becomes Andy's closest friend and the narrator of the story. The movie runs 2 hours and 22 minutes, and while that might sound long, I promise you it flies by. Every minute serves the story, and there's not a wasted scene in the entire film. Here's what you need to know about the plot without spoiling anything. Andy Dufresne arrives at Shawshank Prison in 1947. He's a quiet, reserved man who doesn't fit the typical prison mold. While other inmates are loud, violent, or broken by the system, Andy remains composed and almost detached. Red, our narrator, has been in Shawshank for 20 years when Andy arrives. He's the guy who can get you things: cigarettes, a rock hammer, a poster. He's accepted his fate and learned to survive within the prison's brutal reality. The film follows their unlikely friendship over nearly 2 decades. We watch Andy navigate the dangers of prison life, corrupt guards, a sadistic warden, and the everyday violence of Shawshank. But this isn't just a story about surviving prison. It's about what happens to hope when you're trapped in a hopeless place. On the surface, The Shawshank Redemption is a prison movie, but what makes it transcend the genre is what it's really about: hope versus institutionalization. Red, who spent most of his life behind bars, believes hope is dangerous. Hope is a dangerous thing, he tells Andy. Hope can drive a man insane. In prison, hope means dreaming of a life you'll never have, which only makes the reality more unbearable. Andy, on the other hand, refuses to let go of hope. He believes that no matter how dark things get, you have to hold on to something: a dream, a goal, a reason to keep going. The central tension of the film is this clash of philosophies, but the movie also explores friendship. The bond between Andy and Red is the emotional core of the film. It's not a loud, dramatic friendship. It's built slowly over years through small moments, quiet conversations, and mutual respect. Watching their relationship develop is one of the film's greatest pleasures. There's also a powerful critique of the prison system, how institutions break people down, how corruption thrives in places without oversight, and how justice doesn't always mean fairness. Tim Robbins gives a masterclass in subtlety. Andy could have been a one-dimensional character, the innocent man wrongly imprisoned, but Robbins brings layers to the role. You can see Andy's intelligence, his quiet determination, and the pain he's suppressing. He never overacts. Every gesture, every look, every word feels intentional. Morgan Freeman is absolutely perfect as Red. His narration is warm, cynical, and deeply human. Freeman has one of the most recognizable voices in cinema, and here it's used to perfection. Red is the audience's guide through Shawshank, and Morgan makes you trust him completely. The supporting cast is equally strong. Bob Gunton plays Warden Norton, a man who hides his cruelty behind the facade of religious morality. Clancy Brown is terrifying as Captain Hadley, a guard who rules through violence and intimidation. Even smaller roles like Brooks, the elderly inmate played by James Whitmore, leave a lasting impact. Every character feels real. No one is just good or evil. They're products of their environment, shaped by years in a system that dehumanizes everyone it touches. Frank Darabont's direction is deliberate and patient. He lets scenes breathe. He trusts the audience to pick up on subtleties without spelling everything out. The pacing is slow by modern standards, but it never feels boring. You're absorbed in this world, in these lives, in every moment. The cinematography by Roger Deakins is stunning. Deakins, one of the greatest cinematographers of all time, uses light and shadow to reflect the emotional state of the characters. The prison feels oppressive, dark, cold, suffocating, but there are moments of beauty. A scene where Andy plays opera over the prison speakers is lit in a way that feels almost transcendent. The score by Thomas Newman is understated but incredibly effective. It never overpowers the story. Instead, it enhances the emotion, swelling at just the right moments to make you feel the weight of what's happening. And the screenplay, adapted by Darabont from Stephen King's novella, is airtight. Every line of dialogue serves a purpose. Red's narration is poetic without being pretentious. The structure is perfectly balanced, moving through decades without ever feeling rushed or dragging. So, why should you watch The Shawshank Redemption? First, it's a masterclass in storytelling. The script, the performances, the direction, everything comes together to create something timeless. Second, it's emotionally powerful without being manipulative. The film earns every emotional beat. When you feel moved, it's because the story has built to that moment organically, not because the music swelled or the camera lingered too long. Third, it's about something. This isn't just entertainment. It's a film about the human spirit, about resilience in the face of cruelty, about holding on to hope when everything tells you to give up. These are universal themes that resonate with anyone who's ever felt trapped, whether literally or metaphorically. And finally, it's rewatchable. This is a movie you can come back to again and again. You'll notice new details, appreciate different moments, and find new meaning each time you watch it. The Shawshank Redemption didn't find its audience in theaters. It was a box office disappointment, overshadowed by Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction in 1994. But through cable TV, VHS rentals, and eventually streaming, it found millions of viewers who connected with its message. Today, it's considered one of the greatest films ever made. And for good reason. It's a rare movie that combines technical excellence with deep emotional truth. It's a film about hope, yes, but also about friendship, patience, and the quiet strength it takes to survive. If you haven't seen The Shawshank Redemption yet, do yourself a favor and watch it. And if you have seen it, maybe it's time for a rewatch. If this review helped you decide to watch The Shawshank Redemption or reminded you why you love it, hit that like button and subscribe for more movie breakdowns. I've got some incredible films lined up, so make sure you're subscribed. Let me know in the comments, have you seen Shawshank? What's your favorite moment? I'll see you in the next one.